All right. Tonight's synonym for courage is clarity. Clarity, at first I'm like, oh yeah, I could feel that, how that would be in the energy of courage. And for a little bit, I was having a hard time remembering a specific instance where I felt it. And honestly, I think it comes often in small amounts. But what I remember about my life in the past, you know, growing up, I was never diagnosed with agoraphobia, but pretty much, from what I understand, it was, you know, the way I acted when I was younger. So anytime I'd be around people, groups of people especially, I would just break out in panic attacks, sweat, and had a hard time. It was almost impossible just to look people in the eye and talk to them, or just look them in the eye for a little bit. A lot of shame from the childhood I had, and like I had self-medicated with cannabis and other things, and then I got to a point where I was just curious what it'd be like to be me without any sort of substance, and so I let go of everything one by one and decided to just feel what it's like to be me again. And I had thought the social anxiety was gone until I did this, and man, it wasn't as intense, but definitely there, and it's still there at times, here and there. Just having anxiety around people, and so this once I let go of all these self medications, became curious about uh, self development workshops, programs, and I did one. It's called Fearless Man, and in it they gave us a list of social exercises to do. And so I went out into a crowded mall in Santa Monica, tons of people. Brought up a lot of anxiety and apathy, fear. And on this list, this paper I had different things to do. Like go stop people, ask for directions, ask them what time it is, give a compliment, things like that. It was about just stepping into it, feeling it, and then moving to the next one rather than lingering or wallowing in the feelings. And so I got, excited or turned on, passionate for it. I was like, oh man, I love challenge. So the fact that this is bringing up some fear in me, uh, let's face it, let's go for it, see what happens. And it's always interesting to me that this pattern comes up anytime I go out of my comfort zone. And it's just like these thoughts start flying by in my head, fear, feelings, and they just kind of ping pong back and forth rather than taking action. And I remember, they gave us a time limit on what we had to do these exercises in, and one of them was like it was a few nights. It was like 3 nights of doing exercises. And one night was just saying hellos, just one after the other, after the other, after the other. Didn't matter who it was. Just say hello in a way that they acknowledged you. They didn't have to say hello back. Um, and these, at first, there was some resistance, but I got it. And the next night, sheet of paper had a whole long list of things to do. Ask for directions, like I said, ask people their favorite color, things like that. And this brought up a lot of that emotional pattern of just anxiety, fear. And I remember it was nighttime, and I'm legally blind, so I'm already not 100% sure what's going on around me, because my vision's so blurry. And I was just in it. I was in the fear. I remember I was pacing back and forth, and I don't know how long it was. It could have been like 5-10 minutes. When I was in that state, I wasn't really paying attention to anything other than the fear. And it's such a silly thing to be afraid of, but that's how emotional patterns and beliefs work from previous experiences. That's how it limits us, limited me. And it's going back and forth in the fear. Then I was judging myself, like just shit talking myself, like such a pussy, like what's going on. And that wasn't helping, like there's this thought at times like, oh, if I just push myself in a aggressive way, that'll work. But it doesn't. It creates resistance and really just feeds the fear. And I had this moment of clarity. I was like, do I want to be afraid my entire life, or stuck in trying to get it right, get it perfect, or just do it? And as soon as I had that just slight instant moment of clarity, like, oh, I have a choice. It's like, I'm just going to do it. And I started acting rather than being stuck in that fear pattern. And I went for it. Started walking up to people, asking them questions that really are really simple questions. It's not like I was asking anything too personal or anything like that. And the more I did it, definitely there were other feelings coming up, but just it kept coming back to that moment of clarity. What do I want? What's more important to me? Staying the same or breaking through? Seeing what's on the other side. And by the end of it, I felt amazing. I felt alive. Had a roller coaster of feelings on the way to get to that point, but it was really good, especially as a man. I've always enjoyed challenging myself, sought it out. And I thought it was funny, like I could do in the past such seemingly crazy things or dangerous things, but just asking strangers questions in a mall was bringing up so much for me. And I faced it, felt it, talked to some people I normally would never talk to. And it all started with that moment of clarity, when the fear and the anxiety just shifted. because I realized I had a choice. I could take action, and I did. And since then, I've never forgotten that. And I still have anxiety that comes up at times with people. Um, but I've worked daily on it. In my neighborhood, I used to just sit there, not talk to anybody, judge people, be angry, uh, keep away from them. And now, I have so many people in my neighborhood who know who I am just because I would stop and talk to them, say hi, ask them a question from a genuinely curious place. Just right now, I was walking my dog, and this lovely girl walks up to me, and she's like, "Oh, I talked to you a little while ago. Said your dog had an ear infection." And I was like, "I don't remember that at all." But then I started to kind of remember it, and she was so sweet. She had just lost her dog, like literally a week ago, and she had all these antibiotics and food and treats and toys, and she's like, "Oh, I'd love to give them all to you, or whatever you'll take." And I could really feel, her sadness and her love for her dog that she had just lost. And I thought it was really sweet of her to offer that to me and my dog, little Dave, who's elderly, and he does have arthritis. And that opportunity wouldn't be there if it wasn't for that moment of clarity I had while I was out doing this workshop and decided to stop my normal emotional patterns of being afraid of people, not trusting them, and just stepping into it and saying hi over and over and over again. And to this day, every day, I say hi to somebody new, look somebody in the eye, shake their hands, something I never did before, and just become more and more open and connected and social. And it's definitely a place of courage, you know. And that's how this stuff works. Even though it might be really easy for someone, for another person, they've got a lot of armoring, and that clarity has continued to help me just shed layer after layer of the armor. So that's tonight's video on the synonym for courage, clarity. I'm pretty tired, had a long work week. And there was a moment I was going to give in and not do this video. I just wanted to relax, veg out. And I went back to that courage, that courageous feeling. Doesn't matter. That's how I feel. That's how I always feel after work. Sometimes it's more intense than others, but that's just what it is. That doesn't mean I have to stay in it. So, did the video. Clarity. Something I'm grateful for. I'll see you tomorrow in the next video.